Hello viewers, and you are now watching Face to Face Live. My name is Alessandro and I will be with you for 1 hour. To begin with, I want to ask you a question, a very simple question. Have you ever heard of panic attacks before? I'm sure that even if you haven't ever heard of that phrase before, you can still divine it on your own. Some of you may think that it is the moment when you panic, or some of you may think that it is the time when panic is attacking you. Whatever it is, it all comes down to a state of panic. And it's a very simple topic that we will be talking today. And I want to see how far I can go with this very simple topic. And to help me go further with this topic, I need someone who is very good at this topic, who knows a lot about this topic. And she is actually a senior of mine, someone who takes the same major as I do. And she is Aurelia May.
Hello.
So how are you doing, May?
I'm good, thank you. How are you, Alessandro?
I'm also great. I feel really excited to have this episode with you.
Yeah,
So,
I see you look great today.
And so do you.
Thank you.
Before we begin, I wanna yourself to introduce yourself because I believe that the viewers may not know who you are, so I think it's always best for you to introduce yourself. So please.
Okay. Hello, viewers. My name is May. I'm from English department, and I'm currently in the 7th semester. That's it.
And we wanna know what you are now currently busy with.
I'm currently busy with school will be started next week, so I'm gonna busy with this kind of thing, university thing, and basically I just finished my internship here in BINUSTV, and I have some activities to freelance job, so I have some job to do.
Talking about internship on BINUSTV, you just mentioned. How long does it take for you to finish the internship? 2 months, 3 months?
2 months only.
2 months only.
Yeah,
and so, if so, then you didn't spend your holiday hanging out with your friends, hanging out with your family. No, so it's full time in BINUSTV.
Yeah, I spent my holiday 2 months to basically finish my internship, so that I do not have to do the internship while I have to do the university thing. So it doesn't distract it anything.
And the next question is, why BINUSTV? If you are if you're having internship, there are so many choices. You could probably go to some company and becoming like many choices, many jobs there. But why BINUSTV?
Well, I got that question a lot actually. Well, firstly, I really wanted to work in a broadcasting world. So that's why I decided to join the BINUSTV, and then our manager here, Katrisna, he offered me to be a presenter for today's news.
Today's news. What is it all about?
It's like a program news, but it's in English.
In English.
So I was like, oh yeah, probably I can do an internship here. And then she said that, yeah, sure, you could just come to BINUSTV and look at it. And it was really interesting. It was. I can see that it was the most enjoyable internship I can have.
Besides being the host of today's news, what else do you do?
I was working in a division news, so basically it's like
translating.
Translating news and then searching news and then making news. I was really interested with that because every time you try, when you work in the division news, you will be able to aware of what's happening in the world, what's happening today, and what's happening tomorrow. So that's like a wide eye opening to me.
Now it's clear to me why you chose BINUSTV as the place where you took your internship. Now it's not clear yet for me why you took English department as your major. There are a lot of majors in BINUS, and whenever we take English department, lots of questions coming to us, why English? Even if you do not take English department, you can still learn it. Let's say you take IT major and then you can learn English, but why did you take it? Maybe your reasons can help me someday. Maybe some people ask me and then I can simply say your answers.
Yeah, okay. Well, basically, to be honest, let me explain my story. I was really dislike English a lot. I didn't really like English.
Sorry, I cut it there. Why? What made you didn't like it?
Because I was thinking that it wasn't important at all. I was like, English, why English? It's not really matter at all. I was totally didn't really like it. And that time, I still remember my high school. I even in a simple grammar, I didn't really like it, and I cannot do that. And I still remember. Do you know Friendster, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do.
Friendster was-
one of the social medias.
Yeah, Friendster was really famous that time when I was in high school, and from there I got a lot of friends from another country.
Such as
yeah, such as
Asian or Europe.
Europe, like bule, you know, bule. We call it
Bule.
bule. Yeah, we have a lot of friends there, and then I was thinking, oh my goodness, my English was totally bad. I still remember I had a video call with my
One of
UK
your friends.
friend, yeah, with my friends, and he was that time when we were talking. I still remember I had a dictionary in that, so every time he talked, I was like, oh my god, what does it mean? What does it mean?
Looking up your dictionary.
Yeah, because I didn't really understand that. I was thinking that probably I should take really
A more serious.
more serious in English. And then after that, since then, I've been hooked up with English. I really like it.
So that's the beginning of your interest in
Yeah.
English, and then that's why you basically took English department as your
Yeah.
major. Now, as we all know, English department has 3 streamings, right? We have teaching, we have business, we have tourism. As for myself, I took teaching because I love psychology, and because why do I like psychology? Because I also learned mentalism, and those 2 things are very closely related to each other.
That's really great.
What about you?
Well, I took business streaming because firstly, teaching is really great. I'm not saying that teaching is not good, but to me, teaching is not really me. And then the second one is tourism. Well, I actually graduated from tourism high school, so I was like, oh yeah, probably I learned that a lot, but why not I try something new? And then after that, I chose business. That's why I really chose business, because beside that, I really want to try what kind of business, what kind of English that can be used in business area.
So business is the one that is the most favorable in our department, I guess, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
And then you are now studying for your 7th semester.
Yes.
There has been a lot of courses, there has been a lot of subjects, but I want to know from you personally,
Yeah.
what subject has been the most difficult ever since your very first semester?
Well, it's a pretty hard
Tough
question. Well, that's one subject that I didn't really like because it was kind of really hard. It was translating document. So it was basically you translate something, but to me, I didn't really like translating something because when I got what I really understand about English, that really what I don't understand, what I understand about the meaning, but I don't really like to translate it to Indonesian because it's like really weird and awkward, and I just don't really like it. So it's basically about you translate the document like an illegal partnership, so it's basically a business thingy, so I don't really fancy that thing.
But maybe you could tell me what basically makes you think that translating something to Indonesia seems awkward? I want to know why.
Yeah, well, it's basically because I don't really fancy translating something. Like I said before.
But what about translating from Indonesia into English?
Yeah, that's more I like it, I guess. I don't really like, well, when you try to understand something in English and you understand that, and it's just really hard for me to explain it in Indonesia because
the structure, the arrangements of the sentence is quite different.
Verb, the phrase and that kind of thing, I just don't really like it.
And I have to admit that I'm actually amazed at your pronunciation.
Oh, thank you.
Maybe you can tell us what you do to improve or maybe to enhance the quality of your pronunciation, because I still learn pronunciation every day. So maybe you can help us and the viewers.
Can you guess what kind of British, what kind of accent I have?
British, is it? No.
Well, actually, yes.
Yes.
Well,
and who do you learn it from?
That's actually a really funny question. I watch YouTube a lot. YouTube, I basically fancy a
So you
YouTuber.
watch and then you hear and then you speak?
Yeah, basically.
At the same time, or maybe you finish watching and then you speak?
Yes, and I speak with, basically, when you really want to learn English, it's basically when you try to practice with other persons. So I try to talk to somebody with that accent, and everybody was like, May, you were talking like a British accent. Really? No, I'm not. But yeah, that's probably because I watch YouTube a lot and I fancy British YouTubers, so that's probably my pronunciation is like them.
And that's our first segment, and I know I'm very excited, and we will continue later into our topic. Yeah, so don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Hello viewers, welcome back with us on Face to Face, the only English spoken program on BINUSTV with us. If you're just tuning in, let me tell you that the topic today is about panic attacks. And I'm Alessandro and our guest is Aurelia May. I need to be honest to you, to all of you. Actually, the topic wasn't from me actually, I didn't choose it. So, how this actually went is, I met May, and then we decided what topic we would like to be talking about, and then she recommended panic attacks, and I want to know why did you choose that topic to be talking.
Okay. Well, first of all, let me give you some disclaimer, but because I'm not an expert of this, I'm not a psychologist that really understand about this panic attack disorder thingy. But I've suffered this panic attack disorder since I was in high school, so I really I got some information. I really understand about having a panic attack and being in a panic attack situation. So I just really want to give some information for those of the viewers that probably have the panic attack, or for those of you who may never heard that before. So probably it will help you, even though just a little.
And now my next question is, how do you define it?
Well,
panic attacks.
Yeah, panic attack. Well, panic attack is basically, let me explain you about this anxiety first.
Yeah.
Well, anxiety is the feeling when you're feeling really nervous over something. Well, it's just really normal, actually. When you're feeling like you got something to do, and then you got school, or you're feeling nervous, or you got to be on stage, like you have to be on a camera, or you have to task, or to be in the dentist. You feel like you're really nervous over something, but anxiety comes to think like you are really in that kind of condition and makes you really anxious about something. But if you have the low level anxiety, you can keep calm down over the kind of things. You can keep down, you can not be stressed over that. But if you have the level high anxiety,
that becomes
that
the panic.
That will lead you to panic attack. Well, basically, panic attack is. I'm trying to explain as simple as I can. Well, actually, panic attack is more like when you're feeling really nervous over a little something, but your body, your brain tells you you are in a little dangerous situation. But when actually you're not, when actually you are feeling really okay with that, and it's not, it's fine.
And that's why probably some people say that panic attacks comes without no apparent reason.
Yeah. So from that, your brain transfer it to your body, and feeling like your body is like oh, I should protect my body. I should protect it because I'm in a danger, when actually you're not. So basically, it's like you're feeling really anxious. You're feeling like it makes your heart beating so fast. It makes you feeling like you feel really sick. You feel dizzy, and you really want to faint. Like oh my God, it's just disaster at all. So it's like totally disaster.
And I have a funny question to you.
Yeah.
You are the host of today's news. Do you feel panic attack? Do you feel it coming to you? If you do, where is the danger?
Okay. Well, yeah. Basically, I'm healing right now. I've suffered panic attack, but luckily I became better. I mean, that's something that I never thought I could be. Sometimes I feel really nervous, and I actually really nervous a little bit. But what I did was like, okay, I'm trying to calm down. I'm trying to be okay, May. You got it. You can do it. And then that's what I did. So basically, it's just let it happen.
And now, besides panic attacks, we also have the term of panic disorder.
Yeah, panic attack disorder.
How do you define panic disorder?
Well, the same like panic attack. Panic attack is more like when you feel panic all of a sudden without knowing it. But when panic attack disorder is when you know that place makes you feeling panic. That instead you try to avoid the place rather than let it go and just like trying to come down. But instead you try to avoid that place and try, oh no, I cannot be in that place because I can't be panic, and I have the panic attack disorder. So that's panic attack disorder.
Okay.
Actually.
And we want to know in what way, or maybe how do panic attacks cause someone to suffer from panic disorder?
All right. So basically, it's all about what is I called? I've never known what actually triggered me to have a panic attack. But basically, it's because I have something nervous. I have something like, oh my god, I feel negative something over something, and what I found is that I have a little bit traumatic in the past. I got bullied when I was child, or when I was in elementary school until high school. I believe I got bullied. That's why I really I really don't.
In what way did they bully you?
They bully like verbally, so
verbally.
Yeah, so basically like mocking my appearance and that kind of thing. So yeah, what I've know so far is that panic attack comes from when you have a stressful over something, when you have a problem in your home, and then when you have what's that called, like traumatic something like that. So it can lead to a panic attack.
So in your life, that basically starts from the bullying.
Yeah, the bullying, and I feel like traumatic over that.
Were you traumatized by the place, the school, or maybe the friends, or maybe whenever you want to come to this class? I mean, what made you traumatized there? I mean, let me explain that. What made you? I mean, let's say for me, like if I were bullied, I may be panic when I come to the class. But in your case, what made you panic?
I panic when I got to be surrounded by a lot of people, because I was bullied by a lot of people. That's why I really traumatized when I actually in front of the people. That's really threatening for me. So every time I go surrounded by people, every time I walk and I have to pass a lot of people, I just can't. I really can't do it. So that's make me kind of, oh my god, I can do it. I know I can do it.
Don't worry, I think you're not alone, because there are a lot of people who are like you. They feel afraid of being surrounded by people, a lot of people crowded by people. Now, that's your case. Now, what about in general? What usually triggers panic attacks?
Yeah, like I said before, a panic attack basically comes from when you have a stressful problem, and then you have a problem in your home, like probably broken home, and then traumatic or something. That's actually really trigger you over panic.
Okay. Now, what about the symptoms of panic disorder?
Well, the symptoms is kind of
difficult.
Not difficult, but
difficult,
it's shameful actually. You feel like well, for those of you who understand what panic attack is, you probably will know. Well, when you're feeling panic, you feel like you're an alien. You feel like, oh my god, I'm such a weird person, because you are sweating a lot, your heart beating so fast.
And I'm now sweating.
Yeah, well, probably you can keep the calm, right? But basically, panic attack disorder victim is more like, I can't breathe. I cannot breathe. I cannot breathe at all. Like you have a breathe problem.
So if panic attack causes breath problem, it may also lead to death.
Yes, basically. But so far as I know, panic attack will not lead you to death unless you can keep it calm. So don't worry, you'll be okay. Don't worry.
Now I want to explain about anticipatory anxiety. You know, when panic attack comes to us, the memory may be lasting so much long in our mind that it may lead to two symptoms. The first one is anticipatory anxiety. This is basically like this. You have panic experiences, and then you feel like, you fear of the future panic. You fear of the future panic. And the next one is phobic avoidance. This is, as you said before, let's say you panic in a school, you panic in market, you panic in the kitchen, and then you become to avoid those places because you do not want to feel panic because of those places. So you basically avoid the places where you felt panic before. So that's it. That's basically. And in the segment 3, we have a video to show to everyone, and we will talk a little bit deeper about this topic. So don't get anywhere. Stay tuned. Hello viewers, my name is Alessandro and our guest is Aurelia May and we are about to show you a video about panic attacks. By the way, is the video ready? Sorry? Ready? Okay, here's the video. Tadi katanya langsung.
Is a disease which it is just the hardest thing to treat because there aren't outward signs of it, and there generally aren't chemical or blood tests or they can work up on you to find something floating in your system. And it is one of those things that until very recently doctors would say was just all in your head. And it's not just doctors that would say that. Family members and friends can be some of the cruelest people when you're dealing with panic and anxiety. I saw up close and personal a very sad set of circumstances with my sister. She began to have panic and anxiety attacks back in the mid-'80s. And of course, in the mid-'80s, 30 years ago almost, it wasn't like it is today. So you couldn't just call someone up and tell them about your panic attacks. You couldn't call into work and saying, I'm going to be late, I'm having an anxiety attack or a meltdown of some sort. They'd say you were crazy. When in fact, what you listen to me, you know this, you know that panic and anxiety has nothing to do with your intelligence. In fact, panic and anxiety disorders are generally suffered by people who are very high intelligence, very high functioning. But 25, 30 years ago, if you talked about panic and anxiety, if anyone even knew what you're talking about, they'd come down on the side of you being just plain nuts. Or if you weren't showing up to work on time or at all, you were just lazy. Or if you didn't end up at a party or some social function, you were just being antisocial. And the stigma back in the 80s made it very difficult for people to either understand it or know about it, and even if they did, have any sympathy at all for what you're going through. And again, people that you're closest to could be some of the cruelest in those relationships. My sister, for example, was having a very difficult time, and not many of us knew about it for all the reasons I just mentioned. And the ones that did were dismissive, myself included. I'm not proud of telling you that. But one of the most dismissive was my uncle, who would sometimes just outright, and I don't want to use the language he used because I don't know what your sensibilities are, so I'll keep this kind of G-rated. My uncle would say, listen, that is just nonsense. And in fact, my sister worked for my uncle. He owned a restaurant, and my sister worked for him, and there'd be times when she couldn't show up to work or wouldn't show up to work or whatever. And he would say, that is just pure poppycock. Again, I'm paraphrasing here. And it was very, very devastating to my sister, who was trying to reach out and explain what she was going through. But here is, and if you have ever gone through panic and anxiety, what I'm going to say next, you would like to reach through your computer, through the speakers, you would like to shake my hand when I tell you what I'm getting ready to say. My sister would say, I hope you never go through what I'm going through, to my uncle. She would say it to anybody. She'd say, I hope you never go through this. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemies. And even if people were coming down on her or giving her a hard time or not understanding, very plainly, very resolutely, she'd say, you don't have any idea what you're talking about. If you did, you wouldn't say these things. And I hope you never go through this. Now, the insidious thing about anxiety is sometimes it runs in families, as you know. If you don't know, if you have a big enough family, do a little research, you'll find out it runs in families. One day, my uncle was in the dentist chair, had to go through a procedure. And as he's in the chair, as he tells the story, he began to get this feeling in his stomach. And then this feeling that he was having a hard time breathing, and this feeling like he just had to get out of the chair. And he had never experienced a panic or an anxiety attack before he was in that dentist chair. Now listen, some of you have dealt with this long enough, you may not even remember all the places you've felt it, but I bet you remember the first place you felt it. And can you imagine what it would have been like to have been in a dentist chair and have that be your first experience and think you're going crazy and you're coming unglued and your skin, as he puts it, is just crawling and you feel like you can't breathe and your heart is racing and you're looking around and you feel like the walls are caving in and you feel like you're getting tunnel vision and you feel like literally any moment you could black out or fall over and no one understands and no one would listen and your head is ringing and you can't think straight and you're going a mile a minute. Imagine that in a dentist chair. With just that thing around your neck, realizing that bib, and realizing that just taking that bib off, they'll think you're nuts. And as they got that thing in your mouth and the water is swishing around and you're thinking about the procedure and how long it's going to take, and you realize once they start, they won't be able to stop. And if they end up having to pull a tooth, they can't stop in the middle of pulling a tooth, and that makes your panic and your anxiety get worse, and you're sitting there hyperventilating. And finally, you just look at the nurse, and you look up and you say, I've got to get out of here. And they look at you like you're nuts. and you're crazy. That was when my uncle had his first panic attack. Not his last, but his first. And hearing him tell me that story years later, crying to me, and how he went to my sister and asked for forgiveness, was one of the most heartbreaking and yet gratifying moments I've ever lived through. Not that I wanted him to experience that, and not because I wanted him to have any payback, but so that someone else in my family would understand. So my sister would have someone else who knew where she was coming from, an ally. Where you are right now, you may be somebody who is going through panic and anxiety and you think you're alone, and you're not. And you may have folks in your life who are dismissive and they say they don't understand, but you're listening right now to a voice of someone who does understand. You're listening to the voice of someone now who knows what you're going through and how hard it is. Please, there's a link somewhere on this page. Click it, get more information about a program that could help you. If you're watching this video and it's on YouTube or someplace else, click the link in the more information section and get more information and get started. Don't wait another day.
So that's the video. I hope you got something from the video. Now, May, what
Yeah.
are your opinions on the video?
Well, actually, I think the video is totally great. It explained really perfect about the anxiety and that kind of panic attack disorder. When I really catch up about this, that when you have the anxiety or panic attack disorder, you are feeling like you are an alien. You feel like you are alone, when actually you are not. You feel like, oh my gosh, I'm the weirdest person ever. So that's why actually, wow, that's really great.
And now, May, like any other disorder, some disorders are associated with some food or maybe drinks, right? What about panic disorder? I mean, do we have like some foods or maybe some drinks that we need to avoid if we want to be away from panic attacks?
Well, in a medically, I don't really know about that, but in my opinion, all you have to do is, because panic attack disorder sometimes suffer from the health problems, especially like breathing problems, when you really hard to breathe and that kind of thing. The best thing to avoid is cigarette or smoke, and then the caffeine or like coffee or something like that, because it's not really good for your health. It's not really good for your breath. Yeah, especially breathing. So just avoid those things, because it's not really good for your health.
I do know that smoking cigarette ruins our health, especially our breathing.
Yeah.
But I just knew that drinking coffee also does the same to breathing then.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because when you drink coffee, it makes your adrenaline rush and makes your heart beating so fast. That's not really good for a panic attack disorder victim.
So, and according to your experience, controlling our breathing can also help us to relieve the feeling of panic. How did you do it, or maybe how do you do it?
Because, like I said before, when a panic attack, when you're suddenly feeling panic, the breathing problem is suddenly come up, and then you feel like, oh my goodness, I cannot breathe at all. Like you really want to avoid everybody. I've got this experience when I'm feeling really panic, and then I just want to get out from that room, and I feeling try to fresh myself, try to get some air.
Did you succeed in it? Did you succeed?
Yeah, that's actually really good. So what I mean is that you need to control your breath, you need to calm down, because when you panic, you feel like, when you panic, it's breathing is the last thing you never thought before, because panic is just like, oh my god, I'm gonna die until you forgot to breathe.
Like that?
Yeah, until you're gonna do it to breathe. So first thing for us is try to control the breath, try to calm down, try to relax, and try to inhale and exhale.
And now the next one is practicing relaxation techniques.
Yep.
It's another way to keep us away from panic attacks. Is this the same from the previous one?
Yeah.
Breathing?
Yeah, it's actually the same. Like what I always do is I actually have the application in my phone. It's like a relaxation sound. So it's like more like a sound sleeper and that kind of thing.
A song.
They provide a like a beach instrument, or like a ocean, and then like a lot of things that really relax your mind, and that's actually really good for you if you really want to feel relaxed.
But the question is, do we listen to the music when we are about to sleep, or maybe when we have nothing to do, or you listen to the music just because you are feeling panic?
Well, actually, that depends on you. But for me, when my experience when I got a panic attack when in the train, not in the train, it was in the busway, in the bus. I was like, oh my goodness, I am feeling panic.
So
all
you
of a
are
sudden.
feeling panic in the bus?
Because I was surrounded by a lot of people at
Yeah.
that time. And I'm feeling, oh my goodness. And I tried to listen to that music and I tried to calm down myself. I'm not surrounded by a lot of people. Instead, I'm trying to think that I'm in a beach, like trying to calm
Bedroom.
down myself. And then I was thinking, I'm not gonna die. I'm not gonna pain. I'm not gonna shaking. I'm not gonna have a breathing problem. So instead, I'm trying to calm down myself.
And also, if we are more positive, we
Yeah.
are more likely to be away from panic attacks. And
Yeah.
in your opinion, what do we have to do in order to be more positive and get rid of panic attacks accordingly?
Well, basically, it's positive. Being positive is the first thing you have to do, because when you panic, you feel negative all the way. You feel like, oh my, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna paint. I'm gonna really be painful. I'm gonna faint. I'm just not gonna succeed. And you're feeling really negative at all. So the first thing, if you want to be positive, is try to make yourself open. What I mean here is try to feel that you are some kind of a successful person. So feel like you're not an unworthy person, because if you have panic attack, you will know, you understand this, because you always feel like you're alone when you are actually totally you're not alone, or feel like you are unworthy, or actually you are feeling worthy. So just please think that I'm a successful person, I can do it, and I really want to get rid of it.
Okay. Now, maybe you could share with us some self-help tips on panic attacks or maybe panic disorder.
Okay.
Self-help tips, yeah?
Okay. Well, self-help tips. Okay. Basically, it's because panic attack sometimes all of a sudden can trigger all of a sudden. All you have to do is be open to everybody.
Be
Like
open to
what I
everybody.
mean here is that when you are panic attack victim, you feel like you are an introvert. You feel alone. You feel you have nobody. But trust me,
We have nobody to ask help for.
Yes, trust me. The first thing you have to do is to be open to everybody. You can be open to your parents. You can be open with your best friends, or just some strangers that walks down the streets and you just told them about everything. That's all right. I mean, just tell about what you feel. Tell about what you actually want to do. Tell about what you have in your life. That's actually really, really important. So basically from that, all you have to do is just change everything, change your mindset to be a open-minded person. So that's one thing.
Okay.
That's really important.
And in the next segment, we will have another video to show to everybody, and hope by showing the next video, they will be more illuminated by the video, so they know more about the topic. So don't go anywhere, stay tuned.
What does a panic attack feel like? This is one of the most commonly asked questions that I receive, and it typically comes from someone that's not sure if they've ever experienced one, or they're having them frequently and they want reassurance and validation of that's exactly what they're going through, or they know somebody that does have panic attacks and they want to understand what they go through. So I'm going to start off just by sharing a typical panic attack for myself. Now, this is based on my own experience, but there's some commonalities. So there's some generalities that everyone having a panic attack goes through. It starts off with a feeling of dread, and the anxiety for me, it kept peaking, it kept building. And then I started scanning for exit. So I would look for, how do I escape? How do I get out of this situation? And after I started getting riled up, so the whole panic cycle starts and it begins accelerating, my heart rate increases dramatically. My breathing gets very shallow. And that's the thing with panic attacks, is the intensity and the rapid onset. It happens so quickly that oftentimes it feels like you've been taken over, like you don't have control. And that's what scares people the most, is this lack of control. Combine that with the feeling of dread that you're going to die, and that is the recipe for a very frightening experience, which is known as a panic attack. So it starts off with the chest breathing, the rapid heart rate, the tense muscles, and then it quickly starts escalating. And it's, for myself, it was always feelings that I was in danger and I was going to die. So I needed to escape. I needed to escape. That was my default. And it builds very quickly and it accelerates. And so what happens is you're releasing a lot of energy and you're just burning through it. So for myself, it typically lasted, say, 5 to 10, maybe 15 minutes of intense.
So that's the video. Now, May, give us some comments on the video, please.
Do I have to give us some comments? Because it's basically, it's perfect. I mean, it's actually give some explanation about how to solve the panic attack. I mean, it's really great for those of you who suffer panic attack disorder. Well, if you cannot afford to go to the private consultation, you probably can go to YouTube and search some video and then try to like search some information about that. So I mean that's really great.
And what he says is pretty much the same with your opinion, yeah? Now I want to explain about aware method when you feel panic, when panic is attacking you. Hopefully I still remember, yeah? Aware, A-W-A-R-E. Let's begin from the A. A stands for accept. So when somebody is feeling panic, they may ignore, oh, I'm not in panic, I'm not in panic.
Yeah.
That's not good. You should accept, I am in panic. Because when somebody says no, it becomes yes. Let's say people don't throw rubbish here, people throw rubbish. Don't watch television, they watch television.
Exactly, yeah.
So don't say don't, because your mind cannot accept it. So just accept the fact that you are now in panic. And the next is R. R stands for, wait, W. W means wait. When you are in panic, like you say, the panic robs your ability to think clearly. The panic robs your ability to decide something. So you cannot do anything. You cannot make a good decisions when you're in panic. So you have to wait, because when you make decisions when you're panic, it will be something bad. And then the next is A, action. Sometimes you can probably observe your body, how your body responds to the panic, or maybe you can write a panic diary, so you can write how you respond to the panic, and then by doing that you can observe, and then you can see how your body, how yourself improve in dealing with panic attacks. And then the next one is repeat. If the steps do not work, or maybe if it fails, then you can repeat it again and again. And the last one is end. What people may be misunderstanding is that they want to end the panic. What they may be wrong is that panic will end one way or another. No matter how you respond to it, it will end one way or another. Your
basically,
job,
it will end like 20 minutes or something. So it doesn't take long.
So it's not your job to make the panic end. Your job is to make yourself as comfortable as possible while waiting for the panic to end. That's it.
That's fantastic, Alessandro. Thank you, everybody. Wow.
Now, what about panic attacks? Are panic attacks always seen as a bad condition? Why? Why or why not?
What do you think first?
To me, if I'm in panic, I will reduce the level of anxiety. I mean, so here's anxiety, here's panic. If I'm here, I'm going to make it down here. And then when I'm having anxiety, it sometimes motivates me to do better sometimes. Let's say I'm about to do some magic. When I'm having some anxiety, I can do better. Because I want to be good. The anxiety forces me to be better. That's what I think. What about you?
Well, for me, anxiety or panic attack is the worst enemy ever in my life. I've never thought I could have that. And I always said I didn't have that either. And yeah, that was actually really pretty bad. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity that I lost just because I feel panic attack, just because I feel no, I can't do it because I'm gonna panic that time. So that's actually really bad. But I'm not saying that it's as bad as you think. It actually, you can't heal it. You can make it better and better as long as you can make yourself comfortable, even though it's really hard. But trust me, you're not gonna die because of that. You're gonna be fine. Don't worry. So from the panic attack disorder, you're gonna be okay. So just try to make yourself comfortable.
So that's your advice. Maybe
Yeah.
you have any additional, or that's enough?
What?
Do you have any? Do you have additional advice to the viewers, or that's enough?
Of course, I've got a lot of
Okay.
advices for them.
Give some more.
Can
because
I
we-
have? Can
yeah.
I? Yeah. Okay. Well, for those of you who probably suffer the panic attack disorder, I suggest you to say yes to a lot of more things, because when you say yes, it means that you're gonna have more opportunity from that. So try to be positive. You're not gonna die because of that. You're gonna be okay. Don't worry. Everything. I'm not saying that everything is going to be okay in the end, but sometimes it can be fall down. Sometimes it's not really good. But trust me, you're gonna be okay, because since if you have that lesson, you can't have the experience. When you have experience, you can get the better confidence. So that's okay. So trust yourself. Okay.
Sadly, we have to close the
Okay,
show.
yeah. That's
It's really nice. So
unfortunately.
thank you for coming to Face to Face.
Thank you
This
so
is Panic
much.
Attacks. One
Yeah.
thing to say, if one thing, maybe one way to get rid of your panic attacks, one way to get rid of your fear is to fight your fears.
Yep.
Fear. That's it from me. This is Face to Face. My name is Alessandro. Aurelia May. See you next time. Once again.
Bye.